Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Thursday. It's the 20th of July, 2023. Gonna look at all the races on today's program from the spa, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for opening day from Del Mar. I'm gonna do full card selections for that card also. It looks like it's a great one. I just printed out the past performances behind me, so when I'm finished with this, I'm gonna really start to dig through those and find some winners. You know, that looks like a good card. Great card here tomorrow from Saratoga also, but hopefully the wet weather stays away. If the wet weather comes, it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting one then. But you know, tomorrow's card might be one of the best so far. But today's card's very good. You have quite a few interesting 2-year-old races, and you know, let's get to it right now because it's gonna be exciting. The first race, it's main special weight purse, $135,500 races for fillies and mares, maidens, 3-year-olds, and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6 horse, Little Prankster. Let's go 6-4-1-2 in the superfecta. 6-4-1-2 super. Top selection of 6 horse, Little Prankster. This 3-year-old filly by Practical Joke. Philip Bauer trains. Tyler Gaffleon gets to mount. Blinkers on today for the first time. The horse's most recent outing came around 2 turns at Ellis on the 24th of June. A mile and an eighth in main special weight for 120,000, and the horse finished second by 6.5 lengths that day. And he didn't have the best beginnings. He stalked that day. The winner was much the best. You know, maybe he didn't want to go 2 turns. Cutting back today to 7 furlongs, where he probably doesn't need the lead, could get a good tracking trip. Against these horses today, I think this horse could find the winner's circle and win. Come back here. Gonna give him a shot. He's also training well since the last run. Half-mile drill at Churchill on the main track in 47-4, the 4th best workout of 100. Prior to that, the horse ran the 3rd of June at Churchill, 7 furlongs in main special weight for 118,000, and the horse finished second by 1/4 lengths that day. And again, he had a bit of was a little bit rambunctious before the race that day. Had a bit of a wide trip. He was gaining that day. I thought he wanted a little bit something more, but he ran his heart out that day on that track. And then the 2nd of May at Churchill in his debut, 6 furlongs in the main special weight. He finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. Sweet Aztec really put on a show that day. This horse was just a little bit wide, but was gaining that day. Hopefully with the stronger pace, getting blinkers on, should concentrate to the run. I think this horse could find the winner's circle. I think the 4 horse here, Sister Maha, for Tom Pletcher and Ira Ortiz Jr. could get the job done. The first time starter here. The workout patterns haven't been half bad at all, and the Tom Pletcher horses have been really nicely running so far here at Saratoga. I would give this horse a shot in the pick 5 also to, you know, to go a little deeper. But to recap my selection for the opener from the spa, I'm going to take the 6 horse, a Little Prankster. Give kudos to the 4 horse, Sister Maha. 6-4-1-2 super. 6-4 in your multi-race. The second event from Saratoga, it's a main special weight purse, $83,000. Race for maidens, 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 8 horses going 1,100 meters or 5 1/2 furlongs on the Saratoga main track. Gonna go to the rail to the 1 horse Westib as a top selection. Let's go 1-8-7-5 in the superfecta. 1-8-7-5 super. Top selection of 1 horse Westib. This 2-year-old colt by Unified here. Kenneth McPeak trains. Flavian Pratt gets to mount. Horse is a first-time starter here, but has workouts locally. The last workout came last Thursday here at the spot. Half mile 48-1 from the gate. The breezing, the 4th best workout 72. And prior to that, the following the previous Thursday, a half mile 47-4, best workout of 32, and then another gate workout on the 29th of June, half mile and 49 2/5 of a second, 12th best workout of 25. I like how they've been going from gate to non-gate workout. They've been getting faster. You know, I think he has a lot of speed here, which you need from the inside post stroke, because if you're on the rail, you're going to leave. So if he leaves today and breaks out there well, I don't think anybody's going to catch him. You know, with the pedigree, he should show some speed. Big question is, first start for, you know, for the trainer, 6%. It's not the best kind of statistics, but I think this horse could, you know, change that today and add maybe a little point to that statistic and, you know, make it this one a winner. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 8 horse here, group ticket for Ira Ortiz Jr. could get the job done. Most recently at Monmouth, this horse just had a disaster. Didn't get out of the gate, which cost him. You know, never really showed a lot. The debut at Monmouth going 5 on the 17th of June wasn't bad at all. He finished 4th by 2 lengths. He showed pace that day, and then he just kind of got caught late, but he didn't go down without a fight. You know, hopefully, if he gets out of the gate clearly and shows some speed from wide poster, it wouldn't surprise me if he finds the winner's circle. I'll use him to the pick 4 that begins with this race. But to recap my selection for the second from Saratoga, I'm going to take the 1 horse Wastib. Give kudos to the 8 horse group ticket. 1-8-7-5 super. 1-8 in your multi-race. The third event now from the spa. It's a starter allowance race per $70,000. Races for 3-year-olds and upwards never start for a claim price $50,000 or less, or which never won 2 races here of the main claim starter. Blah 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 blah. We know that already. We have a field of 10 horses entered. 9 and 10 are MTO, so 8 will go. 1,100 meters or 5 1/2 furlongs in the Mellon Turf Course. Rails are up at 12 feet. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 5 horse, highly flammable. I'm going to go 5, 6, 8, 7 in the superfecta. 5, 6, 8, 7 super. Top selection of 5 horse, highly flammable. This 4-year-old gelding by Munnings here. Mark Cassie trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 24th of June at Belmont. 6 furlongs in her turf course and allowance, and a start allowance race $50,000. And the horse finished third by a neck that day. He just kind of stalked that day. Was a little bit wide, but he was gaining that day. I didn't think it was a half-bad run. Refreshing here, where you could see a strong pace to close up to. I think he could get the job done and win today. His buyers are decent for this spot. 2 back in a start allowance race at Belmont, 7 furlongs in the Widener, 28th of May. He finished 6 by 2 lengths that day and didn't get out of the gate easy. He got out of the gate, but it wasn't, clear. And, it took him a little bit of time to get going. And, he just kind of hit the wall late. I just don't know if he wanted to go to 7. I do think 5.5 is really up his alley. And then seasonal reappearance, 23rd of April, Woodbine, 5 furlongs in optional 40. First start as a gelding, first start of the season. He won by 4 3/4 lengths and basically put on a show from a tracking trip. An 81 buyer, nothing bad at all. Making his Saratoga debut today. Has been training well since the last one. I'll give him a shot here on the ticket. I think your second likeliest winner here is a 6-horse Sandrone for James Bond and Luis Saez. Most recent, the 13th of May at Belmont, going 6 furlongs in a State-Bred allowance race. The horse finished 4th by 5.5 lengths that day, and he just was a little bit wide that day and just never really got going. Prior to that, Aqueduct, 6 furlongs in allowance race, 72,000 in early April. He finished 3rd by length that day, and he set the pace from wide posture. He left to get good position, which probably cost him. He didn't have a lot left in tank late there. And then they started the horse on dirt, throw out that dirt event at Aqueduct in the fall. That was one of those races that was originally, in the original condition book, they had turf races carded for Aqueduct late in the season. But because the turf course got so used, they carded some of these races from turf to dirt. And this was one of them. They tried him on dirt. He wasn't handling it that day. Just put an X through that run. He started here at Saratoga twice. Once last summer where he nearly won, where he just got caught at the wire, but he ran his heart out there. And once 2 seasons back where he had a very good 3rd place finish in a very tough main special weight. He always runs these bang-on races on the turf course. If he breaks, he can win 5-1. Let's use him in the multi-race pick 4, whatever we decide to play. But to recount my selection for the 3rd from Saratoga, going to take the 5-horse, highly flammable. Give kudos to the 6-horse Sandrone. 5, 6, 8, 7 super. 5, 6 in your multi-race. Let's get to the 4th race from Saratoga. The 4th race, it is a claiming event going for a $64,000 purse race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 7 horses going the 1,600 meters or the Wilson Mile out of the Wilson Chute. A lot of these Wilson Miles are either like it or hate it, I've noticed. There's no in between. But quite a few wide horses and horses coming off the pace won yesterday. So it wasn't so bad. But my top selection, I love the 1-horse Mariah's Fortune in the spot. I'm going to go 1, 4, 3, 2 in the superfecta. 1, 4, 3, 2 super. Top selection, 1-horse Mariah's Fortune. 4-year filly by Classic Empire. Patrick Reynolds trains. Kendra Carmouche gets the mount. They tried the horse 2.5 weeks ago on the 4th of July at Belmont. A mile and a quarter on a yielding inner turf course and an allowance race 95,000. Tougher horses, wet turf course. It wasn't a success. He finished 10th by 7.5 lengths that day and just didn't show up. Refreshing here, back to dirt for the first time in a little bit from a speed favoring course inside poster, which is always ideal. I think he'd go a long way and win today. His races here at Saratoga on the dirt weren't bad at all. So I think you're going to get a good price on him today. Also stepping down in class. 2 back and claiming 3rd, 2 at Belmont, the Widener, 1 mile, 26th of May. He finished 3rd by 3 3/4 lengths that day. He was a little bit wide. He won a little bit more late, but again, nothing bad about that race from that wide post drop. And then 27th of April at Aqueduct, mile 16th on the inner and a claiming 25,000. He finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths that day. First start on the turf, he probably needed the run that day. It was just a little bit flat that day. And then prior to that, in option 45 at Aqueduct over the mile, he finished fourth by 13.5 lengths that day, and he just went a little bit too fast to the half, which cost him. The most recent victory came at Aqueduct on the stop on the 17th of February, going a mile and claiming 20,000. Went by 2.25 lengths from a tracking trip. He was a little bit drifting that day, but that's because he was in front by a lot. He really took off clear. That was a very good run. Like I said, he likes running here at Saratoga. His most recent race in a Star Lounge race over the Wilson Mile last year, he won by 2.25 lengths, and he broke, guess what, from post 9 and 9. And he left out of the gate, he got good position, he quickened up a lot, and he went away with it. A 71 bar wasn't bad at all. And then the 20th of July to the day here at Saratoga last summer, and claiming 25, he won by 1/4 lengths and closing it from nowhere. I thought it was a very good effort. So he likes this track. He's training well, has some speed. Getting Kendra Carmouche is a very good speed or a good rider that could judge the pace. I think this horse has a logical chance of winning. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 4-horse Good Penny for Luis Saez get the job also done. Was cross-entered for a race on the 19th of July yesterday at Indiana, along with the 3-horse. Both those horses scratched, so they're probably going to be running here. But this horse hasn't been seen since Oaklawn, going a mile 16th in option 40, where he finished 6th by 11.25 lengths that day, and he just never really got going from a wide trip. Very tough race, down to a claiming 32. He's in a better spot to win. Prior to an option 25 at Oakland over the mile 16th, he won by 4.25 lengths and had a dream tracking trip. When he quickened up, he went away with an 81 buyer. Nothing bad about that race there. And then started a lounge race over the mile 16th at Oakland. He finished third by 5.25 lengths that day, and he needed something more. He's coming to Saratoga the first time. He could be forwardly paced. I'll give him a shot here at 7-2. He has races that can win it against these horses, but I really like Mariah's Fortune in the spot. But to recount my selection for the 4th from the spot, I'm going to take the 1-horse Mariah's Fortune. Give kudos to the 4-horse Good Penny, 1-4-3-2 Super, 1-4 in your multi-race. The 5th event from Saratoga, the ending of the pick 5, the beginning of the pick 6. It is main special weight purse, $83,000, race from maidens, 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 9 horses going 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And I'm trying to think, when I was handicapping these races today, I was trying to think, when was the last time they ran 5 furlongs on the main track here at Saratoga? Because years ago, all these 2-year-old races early on in the season used to be 5 furlongs. Then they would get to 5.5, and then of course 6 furlongs, and then that 1 mile in the 8th race at the end of August, early September. So I did some research. Last time they ran 5 furlongs on the main track here at Saratoga was 2013. So it's been a minute since they've run the 5 furlong trip. But I find it quite interesting. But my top selection here, I like the 8-horse here. 3 White Soldiers. I'm gonna go 8-1-2-3 in the superfecta. 8-1-2-3 Super. Top selection 8-horse, 8 White Soldiers. True Gelding by Catholic Boy. Will Morey trains this one. Dylan Davis gets the mounts. The horse's most recent workout came on the 15th of July at Saratoga. From the gate, 4 furlong workout, 48-2. The 16th best workout, 174, and a half. Prior to that, a 5 furlong workout on the train track at Belmont on the 9th of July. 5 furlongs and 102 flat. From the gate, the 4th best workout of 10. And a half mile, 50 and 2/5 of a second. 21st best workout of 20 out of 28 that day. I think this horse has a lot of speed here. Catholic Boy, of course, won the Travers here a few seasons ago. Quality Road, I believe. If he didn't win the Travers, I want to say he won. Did he win the Whitney as a 4-year-old or something like that? I can't remember now. But Quality Road did decently here. More than ready, good horse also on the Catholic Boy side. But coming here today, I think this horse has some pace on him. I think get the job done. I would use him along with the 1-horse Crown That Saint for Orlando Noda and Ira Ortiz Jr. This horse has been training quite well at Belmont. Half-mile drill a few weeks ago in 47.4 from the gate. The 6th best workout of 87 and 5 furlongs of 103 and 3. Very good workout again. If you just go back through the workout pattern since mid-April, he's been getting better and better. This horse looks like he has some pace. From the rail, I would use him on the ticket. And also the 2-horse Uncle Eddie. He showed some potential at Delaware a few weeks ago. Since then, he's been training well. At 10-1 to close off this pick 5. Let's use him there also. But to recap my selection for this very interesting 5th race from the spot, I'm going to take the 8-horse 3 White Soldiers. Give kudos to the 1-horse Crown That Saint and the 2-horse Uncle Eddie. 8-1-2-3 Super. 8-1-2 in your multi-race. Let's get to the late pick 5, the 6th race from Saratoga. The 6th event from Saratoga, it's a main special weight purse, $136,500, races 4 maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds here. We have a field of, let's see, 12 horses entered, 11 horse is an AE, 12 is an MTO, 10 will head to the Melon Turf course, the distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on that Melon Turf course. I'm going to go to the number 10 horse here, Ever So Sweet, 10-3-9-6 in the superfecta, 10-3-9-6 super. Top selection 10 horse Ever So Sweet. 2-year filly by Calix here. Brad Cox trains this one. Flavian Pratt gets to mount. Calix is a very fast horse in the UK. And this horse was bred in Ireland, and this horse, if you just look at the pedigree, is European pedigree through and through. So I think this horse has some potential here. Most recently, the horse is first-time starter. Most recent workout actually has been training on the dirt at Belmont, downstate on the main track. 4 furlongs, 49-4, the 46th best workout of 85. Prior to that, 14-2 from the gate, 5th best workout 32, and a half mile 49-2, 26th best workout 54. I think this horse has a lot of ability here. Has a great pedigree with the Calix and the Exceed and Excel on the dam side, and I think this horse, like I said, has a strong future. It's to win the horse. If she doesn't win today, keep an eye on her in your notebook as the season goes on, in some of those stakes races, because she looks like she might have something here. I'm going to use her on the ticket. I think a second likeliest winner here is a 3 horse Kodiak Winter Green for George Arnold and Jose Ortiz, another horse that has European pedigree through and through. Most recently, 11th of June at Belmont, 5 furlongs on the wide and remained special weight. The horse finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. Was a little bit wide that day, but he was gaining late. Not a bad race at all. Since then, has been training quite well at Churchill, has some speed into him if he wants to use it. It looks like in his workout patterns. I'm going to use this horse, John, on the ticket. And also the 9 horse here, Gem of a Paper for Grand Motion, John Velasquez. First time starter here by Oscar Performance. Again, workout patterns haven't been half bad. First time starters for Grand Motion, they're not so bad. I would give this horse a shot in the late pick 5 here. But to recount my selection for the 6 from Saratoga, going to take the 10 horse here, Ever So Sweet. Give kudos to the 3 horse Kodiak Winter Green and the 9 horse Gem of Performance, 10-3-9-6 super, 10-3-9 in your multi-race. The 7th race from the spot, it's an allowance optional claimer purse, $100,000 race for 3-year-olds and upwards, New York breds here, which never won twice in the main claim starter, blah, 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 blah. We have a field here of, a field of 12 horses entered. 9 through 12 are MTOs, so 8 will head 1,600 meters or a mile on the inner turf course. I love the 3 horse Agent Creed as a top selection. 3-1-A-2-4 in the superfecta for me. 3-1-A-2-4 super. Top selection 3 horse Agent Creed. This 5-year-old gelding by Jimmy Creed. Steve Asmussen trains this one. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd of June at Belmont. Mount Nathan inner turf course, an optional 45 claimer, and the horse finished second by a head that day. And he should have won. He should have won. It just wasn't, Joel's smartest ride that day. He should have won. Got caught at the wire, just a little bit too cocky that day. But he ran his heart out that day. I think hopefully he's sitting a little bit closer today from a tracking trip here at Saratoga. I think he could really run a good race, but, should have won last time out. 2 back at Belmont, 1 mile and option 45 claimer for State Breds. He finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths that day, and it was just a little bit wide that day. He was gaining that day. It was his first start of the season, so maybe he needed the race there. And then the 5th of November at Aqueduct, about a mile on the inner turf course, and allowance race 75,000. He won by a neck that day, and from a tracking trip, when he quickened up, he kept going. A very nice victory for him, coming home with an 81 buyer and 5 offerings. It took him 5 offerings in 2022. It finally took him to that final start to break them to get the victor in that season. Prior to that, they tried him on the off the turf on the main track at Aqueduct. 1 mile in the allowance race 85,000. Finished second by 4 3/4 lengths. Curlin's Wisdom really put on a show that day and was the next star winner. This horse just kind of stalked him. Was gaining that day. I didn't think it was a half bad race. And then allowance race at Monmouth over the mile 16th. He finished 6th by a length that day, and he just never really got going. But keep in mind, 1, 3, and 4 were all next star winners out of that run. Ran here at Saratoga only once in the past. That came on the 15th of August 2021. Mount Nathan optional 80, a very tough optional 80 claimer. He finished 11th by 12 1/4 lengths that day, and he didn't get out of the gate because he got pinched at the start at the back of the pack coming out of the gate, and then just didn't show anything. Beat 1 horse home. Just a horrible race. After that, he won a claim 40 at Belmont in the fall of 2021, and then since then his form is becoming a lot better. I'm going to use him here on the ticket. He could definitely win. I think the 1A, Call Me Harry, could win also for Mike Maker and Luis Saez. Most recent, on the 3rd of July at Belmont in the Hudson Valley. He finished 6 by 11 lengths that day, and he saw some very tough state breds that day, and he just never really showed up. Prior to that at Aqueduct on the slop closing day in 1 mile off 6-2, he won by 3/4 in length, and from a tracking trip, he really put on a show that day. And then prior to that, off 75 at Goldstream over the 7.5 on the turf, he finished 6 by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He was a little bit wide, but he needed something more that day. His maybe he didn't like the turf course in Goldstream. His turf races here in New York weren't bad at all, and he likes his turf course. He's 6 for 3 on it. His most recent race locally on the 20th of August, an allowance race for 115,000. He won by 2 1/4 lengths, and he sat on the front all throughout, beating some good horses home. Came back to win at Aqueduct in October, going away. I'm gonna give him a shot. He could definitely win here today. Also training well on the train track at Belmont. But to recount my selection for the 7th from Saratoga, gonna take the 3-horse Agent Creed. Give kudos to the 1A horse here, Call Me Harry. We also get the 1-horse Spirit of St. Louis, which doesn't look half bad. 3 1A 2-4 Super, 3 1A in your multi-race. Let's get to the 8th event from Saratoga, the beginning of late pick 3. It is a starter allowance race, purse $50,000, race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, never won. Which never started for claim price 20,000 or less. Blah 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 blah. We have a field of 8 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the main track. 7 furlongs here. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Invaluable. I'm going to go 6-2-8-1 in the superfecta. 6-2-8-1 super. Top selection 6-horse Invaluable. The 6-year-old mare here, Mike Maker trains. Matty Franco gets some out. Horse hasn't been seen in 2 months or 9 weeks. 11th of May was the horse's previous race at Churchill. 6.5 in a start allowance race, 110,000. And he finished 3rd by 5 1/4 lengths that day. And he was just a little bit wide that day, and he needed something more. Very tough race. Smaller group of horses here. Could be forwardly paced. I think he could get a good trip to win today. Prior to the Keeneland 7 furlong start allowance race, he won by 3 1/4 lengths. From wide trip, he left going out of the gate. He didn't save so much ground, but when he took off clear in the lane, he put on a show. That was a very good run that day. And then a Goldstream over the 7 on the 4th of January in optional 20. He finished 4th by 10 1/4 lengths that day. He was just wide and just not really excelling. He got beat by better horses that day. And then they tried the horse on the Tapeta Turfway over the mile in December. He finished 8th by 13 lengths that day, and he didn't show up that day. He was a winner in the Claiming Crown Slipper at Churchill in the slop last November, winning by 1 1/4 lengths. A very, very nice run from wide poster. He's another horse. He's done decently here at Saratoga. He won here on the 1st September in 3/4 of a mile, claiming 3rd 2,000. Won by half a length from a tracking trip. A very, very nice victory. He was also stupid wide in a 4-horse group of horses, but what can you do? But coming here 10-1, training well, I think he has a logical chance of winning. The 2-horse Know It All Audrey could win also for Oscar Barrera and Ira Jr. If I'm not mistaken, this horse's victor 2-back was Oscar Barrera's last victory. He hasn't won since closing day at Aqueduct, but they started this horse on 26th of May. At Belmont, 1 mile optional 6-2 claimer. He finished 3rd by 8.5 lengths that day. Movie Moxie, who I believe was entered to run yesterday, didn't run yesterday out of that mile race against Gerrymander. But this horse was on the pace setters. He kind of hit the wall late. It wasn't the day to win. Prior to that, going a mile and 1/8 at Aqueduct on closing day and an allowance for 76,000. The horse had everything on her own way on the front end, winning by 4 1/4 lengths. She was a little bit wide, but you wanted to be wide that day, and she took off clear. And then, a week prior to Aqueduct, mile and 1/8 and option 45, stepping down class, she finished 2nd by a head that day. She was a little bit wide. She had the lead. She got caught late. Maybe just doesn't want to go a mile and 1/8. I think 7 furlongs is to her liking. It's not the world's toughest group of horses. I think this horse could finally give Oscar Barrera another victory here today with IRAD up. I'm going to use this horse at 5-2 on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Saratoga, I'm going to take the 6-horse Invaluable. Give kudos to the 2-horse Know It All Audrey. 6-2-8-1 Super. 6-2 in your multi-race. The 9th one's a very salty race. It is an allowance optional claimer, purse $156,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Number 1, 18,000 twice. The main claiming starter, state bred race horse, never won through races here. Optional claim price 62,000. We have a field of 14 horses entered. 13 is an AE, 14 is an MTO, 12 will go to the Mellon course, the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or mile 16th on that Mellon turf course, rails at 12 feet. Top selection, I love the 7-horse exact estimate. Can't speak. I'm going to go 7-10-1-12 in the superfecta. 7-10-1-12 super. And I'm going to single the 7-horse exact estimate in the late pick 4 here. My best bet of the day. I know giving out a best bet 7-2 I shouldn't do, but I like this horse a lot. 4-year-old Colbane to the Mischief. Chad Brown trains. Ira Jr. gets the mounts. Most recently from a wide trip on the 17th of June at Belmont. 1 mile allowance race, 95,000. The horse went by half a length, and from a tracking trip, this horse was a little bit wide late. But when she got going, she really put on a show, coming up with an 89 buyer. Nothing bad about that run. Prior to that, at the end of April, Keeneland 1 mile allowance race, 109,000. The horse finished second by a neck that day and didn't break so well. Was a little bit wide. Was really closing up well behind Catnip. Catnip just, got it to the wire first. But this horse ran her heart out behind her that day. And then at Gulfstream, mile 16th in March in the main special weight, winning by a length, coming from nowhere. Was a little bit drifting that day, but she really put on a show. She started her career off here in New York, last season on dirt, where she was running okay. He ran in a very tough mile allowance race at Belmont on Belmont Stakes weekend of 2022. In that allowance race, Winnick finished third, was the next star winner. Gasoline is a decent horse in the allowance division for Todd Pletcher, and Atrocious was next start winner, who was a somewhat decent horse also, so he got beat by better horses. Since coming to the green stuff, this horse has really improved a lot, has been training well, coming here with a good post drop. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse goes away with it. Like I said, best bet of the day. He's gonna be my single in the multi-race, my key single in the late pick 4 multi-race, or pick 5, whatever I decide to play. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Saratoga, gonna take the 7 horse exact estimate. Gonna go 7, 10, 1, 12 super. 7 we're gonna single in the multi-race. Let's get to the 10th race, the finale, the nightcap, the featured on the program. It is New York Stallion Series, going for $150,000 purse, race for 3-year-olds here, state breds. Field of 9 horses entered. The 9 is an MTO, so 8 will go 1,600 meters or a mile on the inner turf course. I'm going to take here the 8 horse, 26 Black, as a top selection. 8742 in the superfecta for me. 8742 super. Top selection 8 horse, 26 Black. This 3-year-old colted by War Dancer. Russia de Paz trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came 18th of June at Belmont. 7 furlongs, New York Stallions there, and the horse finished second by length. From a wide trip, he was a little bit wide throughout. Had the lead. He got caught by Rumbling Wreck late, who just closed up from nowhere to get this horse late. But this horse, he ran his heart out that day. Coming here to 2 turn for the first time, so it's a little bit closer. Speed favoring course. I think his speed could go a long way and win today. 2 back at 6 furlongs at Belmont, an allowance race for state breds. He won by 4 3/4 lengths that day, and he stalked. He was a little bit wide, but he took off clear. A very good, strong performance. And then first start of the season on the 7th of April at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs in main special weight, winning by a neck again from a wide trip post draw. He won it on the front in a very, very good race. The bars are definitely going up. With every single race, even with the feed. Next logical step around 2 turns, speed favoring course. I think he get the job done. I'm going to use him along with the 7 horse Rambling Wreck for Danny Gargan and Irad Tees Jr. Most recent, the New York Stallions. This horse ran terrifically. Didn't break so well. Had a little bit tough trip, or a lot of tough trip down the backstretch, but was gaining late. He got there at the wire. Great ride by Irad. Nothing bad about the race first off the bench. Prior to that, they tried the horse on dirt, which is a logical thing to do in the New York Stallions race at Aqueduct, and when you're going for a $500,000 purse before Christmas. He finished second by 8.5 lengths. General Baker really won that day quite nicely. This horse was just wide and just wasn't really getting into it. Prior to then, the Central Park at Aqueduct over the mile on the turf course, he finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and he was just wide and just never really get going. And then the Pilgrim at Aqueduct on the yielding turf course over the mile 16th, finished 5th by 6 3/4 lengths, and he just saw 2 tough open company. He won at Aqueduct in early September last year, and a mile 16th main special weight, won by 3 lengths. He really put on a show that day. But coming here today, back to state breds, I'll give him a shot here at 7-5, but I do think 26 Black is your likeliest winner in the finale. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Saratoga, it's New York Stallions here. Going to take the 8 horse. 26 Black. Give kudos to the 7 horse Rambling Wreck. 8742 super. 87 to end off the multi-race wagers. So good luck to all. Remember to go check out tomorrow my Del Mar opening day preview video, and also follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck, everybody.